another new day. What an exciting time we're having. Lots of new days. Well, Fajita, have you got anything in your bucket for today?
Yeah, it's very special.
It's a very special thing. Oh, I've just seen what it is. It's a very special thing. She's right. Now, this is a very special box that has something in it. What does it have in it?
A pen.
A pen. Now, you might think this is a bit of a big box for a pen, and it is, but it's got a little pot of ink in and a very fancy pen. This is quite an old-fashioned type of pen.
It's a dip pen.
A dip pen. You have trouble saying that, don't you? Dip pen.
Dip pen. Yeah, can't say
that. It's a dip pen. It doesn't have ink in it. You open the lid of the ink and you dip the pen in and then you write with it like that. And this is my daughter's dip pen. She asked for a dip pen and she can write with it quite well. It's quite impressive. Well, why have we got a very fancy old-fashioned-y type pen?
Because we're thinking about letters.
We're thinking about letters? I thought we were thinking about friendship this week.
This is friendship.
You'll have to explain.
Paul.
Ah, Paul. Now, we've talked about Paul before, haven't we? Paul writes lots of letters. And sometimes he writes letters to people in churches and whole groups of people. And some of his letters are to his special friends. He has particular friends that he writes to. Now, one of the letters we're going to think about today is the second letter that is in the Bible to the same person.
Oh, he must be special.
Yes, he must have been quite special. I think he was a really good friend of Paul. And he's called, do you want to see?
Timothy.
Yeah, Timothy. He's called Timothy. And this is how part of Paul's letter to Timothy goes. I am writing to Timothy, my dear son. Now, he wasn't actually his son. He was a friend, but that's how good, how close they were. And he says, Timothy, I thank God for you. Night and day, I constantly remember you in my prayers. I long to see you again, for I remember your tears as we parted. Paul's writing to Timothy. Timothy's a young man. He's not a child, but he's not as old as Paul is. And Paul writes to Timothy to encourage him.
What does that mean?
Encourage? Well, that means to help someone to keep going. I know a lot of you have thought about encouragement at your schools before. So Paul writes to Timothy and says, keep going. Keep doing what I've taught you. And he says this, God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. So Paul writes to Timothy and he says, keep going and don't be afraid. You've got God's power and love. And, you know, we can have those things too. We don't need to be afraid. If we trust God, or if we think about maybe what the Bible teaches, Christians believe that we can have that same power and love now. And sometimes that helps us to not feel afraid. So Paul wrote to his friend Timothy to encourage him to not be afraid and to encourage him to keep going. Now, you might have friends that you want to write to encourage to not be afraid, or to encourage them to keep going and having fun and doing whatever they're doing at home. I hope you enjoy writing to your friends. Sometimes we just write emails, and emails are good, but you know, I found that I really like getting actual post through my door. Things that I can maybe put on my fridge or stick on my wall. Things that I can keep to remember my friends. Well, there's an activity on our activity sheet that's got some colouring pictures that you could turn into cards to send to your friends, Or I'm sure you could design your own. And write to your friends and encourage them and tell them to keep going. Well, you have a good weekend and we shall see you again very soon, won't we?
Yeah. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.